Sections of the internship proposal form. The first is the diagnosis. The diagnosis is the first step to create the project, and without it, you can move forward. The diagnosis provides information of the scenario of a specific situation, in which its objective is to identify, define, and locate the problem, issue, situation, or need, and thus design solution to them. To identify the problem, you must provide information about it. The elaboration of a diagnosis is always based on a study of collection of data, which, when relied, allow us to reach a synthesis and interpretation. This requires numeral data, numbers, percentage, charts, and relevant information, since if taken into account, they will lead to easy understanding and diagnosis support. In simple words, the diagnosis should answer the question: exactly what is happening, why it is happening, and what causes a problem to be generated. Don't forget that no data is not a diagnosis. The diagnosis must be concrete, concise, and precise. Don't add data that is not necessary. In the diagnosis, the causes are identified and made present. And finally, you have to avoid the words so much, few, more, a little, huge, a lot, and better replace them with numbers. Well, the problem definition is the second step of the project. Thanks to the information given in the diagnosis, a problem can be established, which is the existence of an unwanted situation or lack of the desired situation, as well as the consequence from the diagnosis. Its goal is to drive and justify the project. In definition of the problem, it's important to make known why it's important and necessary to solve it as soon as possible. Likewise, the problem must allow for a solution. The questions to be answered in the problem definition are: why is it important? And what caused the problem? The problem must be perfectly aligned with the diagnosis information. Important. It's important that the problem should be written in 2 to 3 lines, not more. Therefore, it must be concise, precise, and clear. A tool to obtain the problem and its consequence is the problem tree. The next is project aim. The project aim is the third step of a project. The aim is a general statement about the general objective or intention. Therefore, the objective is something that is expected to be achieved by doing something. Likewise, it must be a fact and clear state what do you want to achieve. In the project, only one must be general. Likewise, there must be more than 3 specific objectives, in which this will help to achieve the general objective. In each of the objectives, whether general or specific, it must be taken into account that in a single sentence there must be the 5 elements of the SMART methodology. The first is specific. In the specific is exactly what I want to achieve. It must be precise and concrete. The M is measurable. Is that I can know the scope or achievement of the objective. The A is achievable. That you can do it in the time you have to do it. The R is relevant. That matters in the project and thus meet the objective. The T is time. How long the objective will be achieved. It's important that each of the objectives begin with an infinitive verb. They must be aligned with the diagnosis and definition of the problem, and should answer the question, what I want to achieve. Well, the strategy. The strategy is the fourth step of the project. The strategy focuses on solving the problem, which is why it is disclosed, how and why it will be solved. Taking into account that the solution must be aligned with the diagnosis, the problem, and the general objective. In the project, the name of the strategy must be written in which the solution is in a few words. It's important that not including details, and must be with a focus on the future. In the strategy should be small tactics that are activities and actions in the future that are carried out day by day to achieve the strategy. The strategy must answer the question, how will the problem be solved? And how will I achieve it? The next section is KPI. The KPI, it is the 50th step of the project. The KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. They are metrics or ratios that are used to evaluate the performance, in which it reveals the exact way in which what the objective in place is going to be measured, begin through a formula. Since with the focus on the objective, we will obtain the formula. Like we say that you need to know. The formula must attend to pure mathematics, rule of three, sum, division, subtraction, etc. The elements of the KPI must be sufficient to measure and communicate the effectiveness of the project. The KPI must be aligned with the objective, the strategy, and the diagnosis. Finally, the KPI it should answer the question, how much I achieved, and how do I measure it. Finally, the last step and section of the project is cost-benefit analysis. The cost-benefit analysis is a technique to evaluate the viability of the project, thus helping to make the decision to apply the project or not. The cost objective is to find out how much it costs to realize the project. The objective of the benefit is to know how much will be obtained and also what will be saved when carrying out the project. A list of elements must be included in both the cost and benefit sections with their respective amount of money. The elements are obtained from the strategy and tactics to be carried out. The cost must be less than the benefit. It must be taken into account that if a greater amount is obtained in the benefit and less in the cost, the project is viable and can be carried out. Take account that the cost-benefit analysis must answer the questions. It is convenient for me? How much will I earn? So, when you get all the sections, you should verify that everything is aligned, that it goes to the same end. It is also advisable to read the information you include 2 times or more, and to share it with a person who has no idea of the case to verify understanding. Thank you.